It became personal with me.
As the old adage goes, comparison is the thief of joy. But for some people, it provides the fuel and the motivation more powerful than anything else on this planet. Spite. And we just had the most gourmet possible appetizer leading into Capcom Cup 11 coming up next month, full of converging storylines and drama galore, more so than I could have ever had possibly predicted and asked for. What am I talking about? I'm of course talking about Street Fighter League US 2024. Yes, of course, we have the conclusion to Street Fighter League US with the Street Fighter League US playoffs to determine which team will go on to compete in Street Fighter League Worlds, which already had their region's champions crowned. We had Good 8 Squad win out of Japan and Ninjas in Pajamas win out of EU, and it's time for Street Fighter League US to pick the team to represent this Street Fighter League region. And interestingly enough, we have the reigning champion in this region. Bandits actually won Street Fighter League US and Worlds last season, led by Mena RD along with Kaba. It also consisted of Christy and Xiaohai. Now they have Louis Man and Zhen on the roster, which is pretty funny. Like Zhen joining the team Bandits. You know, Zhen was giving Mena RD a very difficult time in the past year or so with his DJ, and it's like, if you can't beat him, recruit him for your team. But we also have teams like Cloud9, Fighting Spirit, and FlyQuest who made it into the playoffs. Red Rooster and Rebellion were eliminated in the regular season. And like I mentioned, Bandits here are trying to defend their world title. Only 50% of the roster still remaining, but still fighting to maintain that world championship title in this story. We also had a lot of breakout performances and a lot of big storylines over the course of the Street Fighter League US season, which of course includes things like Boost making his breakout performances in an offline environment. Here he is going up against Mena RD in one of the early weeks of season 1. Boost actually burst into the scene, winning and performing really well at the regional World Warrior events for NA East, beating players like Mena RD online. Here he is getting a real win in an offline environment, showing that it's not a fluke, it's not just online only, that Boost is actually here to play. We also had, of course, moments where Mena RD, we had Shirtgate, Mena RD popping off after securing his qualification into the playoffs for his team Bandits, chucking the shirt at team, Shopify Rebellion that he ended up eliminating by winning this set. So that caused a lot of drama on the ethics of shirt throwing in a competitive environment. We also had the moment with Punk to God going up to Noah after winning the set, not liking the cut of his jib, telling him to sit down to play the anchor match. This was nominated for Pop-Off of the Year at EVO. And then we even had, Punk expand upon that, how he plans to troll Noah in every set here on forward. We also had Noah, of course, tweeting out one GIF that set the Street Fighter Twitter world ablaze for a day. This is the Michael Jordan GIF where he talks about how it's easy to speak when you're ahead, but the ones who trash talk and speak when they're behind or when it's even, that's a real man. That's how you know they're hungry for the win. And Christy CH had this funny rebuttal, in my opinion. Tweeting this after getting benched the whole season is crazy. Post a brawny vid instead. I think Noah did have one of the worst records officially by the numbers in Street Fighter League US, even though his team C9 did make it into the playoffs. He did not perform that well and often sat out for many team matches, and that led to a lot of back and forth between a lot of parties. So that was a lot of drama happening from that. But this is all a little bit strange, and I think Broski summed it up best. Let me explain why this felt a little off at the time. Broski says, "Crazy thing is, this Street Fighter League blow up happened months ago. Pretty funny waiting for an NDA to expire before unleashing the beef onto the timeline." A big problem with the format with Street Fighter League US, which is the only region to still do this, is that it's entirely pre-recorded. They get all of these players from around the world into one venue for about a 2-week period and film all the episodes back to back to back, day after day after day, and then quickly figure out who is going to be in the playoffs. And this is done out of logistical reasons, right? So Street Fighter League US features players from China, from Taiwan, from all over the planet. It's not just US native players, so they can't just play it online either. And it kind of ruins a bit of the live sports feel. It's pre-recorded, so the suspense isn't quite there. And I think it kind of hurts the overall package, to be quite honest, with the fact that we know it's all pre-recorded and happened in the past. And it leads to other weird situations too, right? During the whole course of this, the game has changed, right? Mai and Luke were added to the game. They're playing on entirely old patches. There was the December update, which completely changed a lot of the balance of the game. And by this time, the entire Capcom Cup qualification has been decided. So the game has changed underneath the feet of these players. So that said, all this drama happening in front of our eyes and unfolding, where the players were waiting for months to talk about the results and to talk about the beefs that had formed over the course of this tournament, it felt a little silly, and I don't think the audiences were really as engaged as they could have been if the action was live. Street Fighter League in Japan is in fact filmed live weekly so that the teams can actually evolve over the course of the season and develop counter strategies for each other. And EU has kind of the middle ground where it's done live, but it's all done also in a short, like 2-week period, back to back matches. So at least you have the suspense and you know that you're following along with the action live. Where Street Fighter League US is pre-recorded, and we're giving a drip feed of these episodes weekly over the course of months. But things have been changing, and the main storyline actually coming out of this is the fact that we have Punk the God coming out as the MVP, bar none, from Street Fighter League US regular season. This is like the main storyline developing aside from all the drama. He was actually 11-2 in the regular season with an amazing record, including going 1-1 versus Meta RD, the other top dog, people would argue in this, and he was the lead reason pulling his team FlyQuest to an 8-2 record, coming out as the number 1 seed from the regular season, whereas everybody on Team FlyQuest definitely carried their weight. Punk was obviously the MVP of the whole season. We had Fighting Spirit in second, Cloud9 in third, and Bandits Gaming in fourth. And those are the top 4 teams that ended up moving on into the Street Fighter League US playoffs to play live in front of an audience this past weekend. So completely changing the vibe, and the audience actually gets to see the action live and follow the drama as it unfolds in front of them. The way this bracket actually works is because of the way the records are set up, the number 1 team gets to advance to grand finals right away. FlyQuest earned that right. Fighting Spirit is waiting in semifinals, and Cloud9 and Bandits have to go the distance if they want to make it into that Street Fighter League Worlds spot and to win Street Fighter League US playoffs. But it's going to be hard to stop this team. I mean, even Fly Fighters out here with Punk to God, they're putting out whole animes for the squad here. It's going to be so tough for anyone to stop this team's momentum. We have Punk, Shine, Christy CH, Psycho, everyone carrying their weight throughout the regular season, led by Punk, the Evo champion, the MVP. So shout out to FlyQuest putting out all the great anime media. I mean, they just really went the distance to hype up their squad going into the playoffs. But before that team goes up, of course, we have Cloud9 versus Bandits. One of these teams is going to have to fight tooth and nail if they want to go all the way to the grand finals, and one of these teams is going to be eliminated in the first round. And to start off the action, we have JB going up against Louis Man. JB sort of the head honcho here for Team C9. Here Louis Man is trying to fight out from a deficit here. JB trying to get the scrambly Rashid gameplay that he's known for. He needs one solid hit to get the job done. Louis Man trying to pick his spots carefully, but the big whiff punish from JB on the withstand heavy punch. That was great spacing from JB. The limbs do have extended hurt boxes from Dalsum, and JB knows the matchup. Gets the heavy punch driver's canceled to the heavy kick conversion, and he goes on to actually close out that set. Up next, we have Zhen from Team Bandits going up, and Zhen is an interesting tale. I think people expected a lot more out of Zhen going into the regular season, and he even mentions that himself in his pre-game interview, where he said, I didn't really have my A game on in the regular season. He was playing M. Bison originally throughout Street Fighter 6. He's been playing DJ, and he was a thorn in Mena RD's side, beating him tournament after tournament. And he also ended up getting a 6th place finish at EVO this year. He's been doing really, really well, but his Bison wasn't sharp enough at that moment. It was a little bit newer in the season for that character at the time that the regular season was recorded, and as such, he only ended up with a 43% win rate when Zhen was one of the favorites to sweep a lot of these teams. So coming into this, he has a point to prove that his Bison is ready, and he starts off rather strong. Zhen up against Lex here in this spot, has the corner, 1 round away. Lex gets the walk under flash kick to secure the corner, has an opportunity to turn this around. The Abari from Zhen on the plus frames, and Lex slow on the drive reversal, has the drive rush canceled to jab, block the drive reversal, and Zhen gets the first win of the Street Fighter League playoffs for him against Lex on C9. So we have a tied up set, C9, 10 points apiece. These teams are playing to secure 50 points total before they can move on to the next round. So the first 2 sets of every round are only first to 2 for 10 points. Then the anchor spot is first to 3 for 20 points. So we are now heading into an anchor match. And who do we have? Of course, we have Boost versus Mena RD. Like I mentioned earlier, Boost has made his name off of defeating Mena RD. Prior to World Warrior #1 for the NA East World Warrior, Boost was a relatively unknown player until he defeated Mena RD to take that event in a really surprising and dominant fashion. And here Boost is going up against Mena RD, and Boost, once again, he beat Mena RD in his showing at Street Fighter League during the regular season as well. So the interesting thing to note here is Mena RD has been traveling to Japan to train almost in secrecy. He qualified very early for Capcom Cup out of Cream City Convergence, and we haven't seen too much of him playing whatsoever. We see him in Street Fighter League, but that's all pre-recorded. He qualified so early in the season that aside from Esports World Cup, he hasn't made as many appearances as he would in a typical CPT season. But we do know that him and Team Bandits as a squad have been training in the past month in Japan. The question here for Mena RD is, what character does he go with? Does he go with the Blanca? Does he go with the Luke? Does he go with the Zangief? Well, the pick here, M. Bison, and it is looking dominant here. Mena RD, it's a round apiece. He has a perfect on the board, reacts to the run step kick with the level 3. Boost has still a life lead. That CA is going to put him near burnout. He's not going to be able to avoid it. Yep, the little tap for the stand MK puts him in burnout. And the stand jab check. Mena RD was using the far range stand jab from M. Bison to such great effect to check Boost's space and prevent him from moving into ranges. Gets the driver's cancel there, converts from it, and takes the first game. And the second game is much more the same. Very dominant fashion. Boost seems to not be able to catch his footing. And here we have Mena RD at set point going up against Boost. Boost has the corner control. Sister kick out. Out does Mena RD. Trade on the crouching medium punch. Stand jab, driver's cancel once again. He just taps it in with that. He doesn't react, does Boost, to the driver's cancel from Mena RD. There is a gap there. Anytime someone does a jab driver's cancel, there is gaps, and it's actually interruptible with buttons. It just happens so quick. Mena RD sneaks that one past it and takes it 3-0 over Boost, where Boost originally, like I said, he's known for being the Mena RD slayer. This time, Mena RD is too prepared, takes the anchor position, and puts up Bandits to 30 points over C9's 10. Only 20 points remaining for them to close out this first round of Street Fighter League playoffs. So who's up next for the next round? As I go back to the regular matches, cycling through once again, we have Lex versus Louis Man, this zoning showdown here. And both of these players are actually on match point. Look at this interaction here. It's final game, final round between these two players for 10 points. Louis Man has Lex in burnout. OD fireball. DI. Lex runs into it, but he finds the back throw on the jab to DI. There is a gap there. Pops a level 2. This time Lex is going to recover from burnout. Puts Louis Man in burnout instead. He's harassing in the corner. Gets combo conversion. Tries to go for the surprise DI, but Louis Man is ready with the raw level 3. And the commentators are debating here what that's going to kill. He is dead. He is dead. Louis Man takes it over Lex in the final game to bring it to 40-10 for Bandits. One set win away from eliminating C9 and moving on to the next round. And who do they send up? Zhen. Zhen going up to make a point here. Here he is on set point versus JB. Finds the big shimmy, gets the combo conversion, gets the OD back fist into the level 2. That's going to leave JB with just about a pixel remaining for his Street Fighter League tournament life. And he goes for the wake up perfect parry attempt. Zhen baits it out, gets the throw, and Bandits eliminates Team C9 to begin what might be the long journey for them to make it into the grand finals to defend their Street Fighter League US and World title. So that brings Bandits now up against Team Fighting Spirit. And Team Fighting Spirit here, we have Xian, DCQ, NL, and Oil King. This is pretty interesting. In fact, you might recognize this team because, you know, previously they used to be known in the 2023 season as Versus Vortex. Here we have Oil King, DCQ, Cien, and NL rocking a different jersey, different name, but the same players, all the same. In fact, if you're real OG in the Street Fighter League scene, you might recognize this team as Team UIU, who actually won Street Fighter League USA in the final season for Street Fighter V. So this team has been around a while under a bunch of different banners, and it's pretty interesting how they ended up being the champions in Street Fighter League US 2022. They ended up losing in Worlds, but they won that season. Prior to this, Team UIU was the worst team in Street Fighter League US history. They had the worst record over multiple seasons. They finally turned it all around with this squad, and the squad is stuck together under different names now for several years, and they're back in the playoffs up against the Street Fighter League World Champion, with the only other team to win Street Fighter League US in the years prior when they actually added the World's division. So both teams have a lot of pride here in this match. And going into the first match, we actually have Cien versus Kaba. Set point here with Kaba versus Cien. You can see here that Kaba pops to level 2 with the heavy kick. He's going to force the burnout situation. So much drive gauge damage when you pop that level 2. Puts Cien in a really nasty position. Holds the down charge. Gets the flash kick. He's just going to need to tap this one in. Does Kaba. One more interaction is going to take the first round. And he finds the crouching medium punch to control the space. That's 10 points on the side of Bandits. And Kaba keeps the momentum going for Team Bandits in this game. But up next, we have Zhen. Trying to prove a point, trying to prove that he's here to carry his team, carry DR on his back. You know, this is an all DR team, plus Zhen here representing China. He's going up against NL. Zhen here in burnout, but on set point against NL. A game piece here. NL trying to tie it up in this round. Poking away towards MK. Finds a demon flip. It is plus frames as a burnout, but Zhen knew he wanted to keep the turn going. Goes for the surprise level 3 in between the block string. That's huge damage on NL's Akuma. Trying to bait out a DP with the head stomp. Navigating the fireball maze. Gets the drive rush into the jab. Take throw is teched by NL. One final touch. It is the air-to-air. Reads the jump. Reacts appropriately. Gets the jump medium target combo. And Zhen is proving a point that he's here to play. Undefeated so far. And he takes the set to bring it to 20-0 for Team Bandits over Fighting Spirit. But it's time for the anchor battle. So remember this format, it's 10 points for the regular set. The anchor battle first to 3 is worth 20 points. We have DCQ up against Mena RD, two titans of the game here. And if DCQ wins this, he brings it to 20-20. He ties it up. If Mena wins this, it's 40-0, and they're on the precipice of going to grand finals for Street Fighter League US playoffs. And with the character selection, we have Luke versus JP. I know the graphic on the other one showed that DCQ was going M Bison, but actually busts out the JP for this one. DCQ originally playing only solo JP. Remember, he got 5th place at Capcom Cup in 2023, but with the JP nerfs, he picked up the M Bison. JP got buffed again and kind of restored to almost his same former status, but still not quite. So DCQ added JP back to his squad. So we have like a season 1 showdown here. Classic Mena RD, Luke up against DCQ's JP here, and here we have a round apiece in the first game. OD portals to control the space. He uses that to drive rush in. Gets the punish counter throw on the parry. And he's lower in drive gauge. You know it's going to be a problem here because he has that level 2 crouching heavy punch into level 2. You have to guess. And he guesses incorrectly. OD DP off rip from Mena RD in that interaction. And it might look a little strange at first because you wonder why he didn't just block or hold parry. If Mena RD were to hold parry in the situation, punish counter throw on the parry would absolutely kill. So you can't just hold parry and take the throw. You kind of have to guess. So Mena RD figured the OD would be the right pick. But very smart bait here from DCQ to just wait and see what happened. And DCQ takes the first game over Mena RD's Luke. And of course, we have the immediate character select from Mena RD. He doesn't even wait a beat, and it's right away over to the Blanca. We're going to have the wheel of counter picks in this first to 3 set for sure. So now Mena RD has the Blanca. Here we are in the next game. DCQ finds the hit. Spends the level 1, but it doesn't kill. He had level 2 available. He had other conversion options to spend more meter, but he wanted to save that 1 bar. But it's to his own dismay. The drive rush in with the heavy kick lands the counter hit. Mena RD converts the whole way, and he scores the CA there to take that game. DCQ, I mean, once he popped this route here, he had to make a decision after the drive rush cancel if he was going to spend level 1 or level 2. It's really close in the damage scaling. He thought he was doing the right combo route to kill. He could have done something into level 2, but it was just such a tight calculation to make, and he just barely miscalculated. And you leave Mena RD alive, he will take that opportunity to make the comeback, and Mena RD ends up tying the set 1-2-1. But with that opening, Meta RD has to now fight DCQ's Bison. Immediately to the character select for DCQ now. We have the wheel of characters being rotated through here. And here DCQ is already on match point in this second game. Look at the anti-air crouching heavy punch canceled into the back fist juggle. If it hits on the right active frame, you can actually get the cancel. He gets that all the way to level 3. Huge damage on an anti-air there from DCQ. Meta RD finds the drive rush cancel to fight back here. Lays on the block of Shen. Can he mount the comeback? No, sir. He pressed the crouching medium punch. Smart DI from DCQ. Meta RD does not have the life available to tank the armor through with this DI. He'd have to perfect parry, block, or throw that. So once he pressed that crouching medium punch timing, it was pretty much all gone for Meta RD, and DCQ brings it to 2-1 in this anchor battle position to hopefully for his own squad tie up the set between these two teams. Meta RD decides to stick with the Blanca, and here we are at final round between these two players in this game. DCQ looking to close out the set, but Meta RD with a surprise cancel out of the corner into the OD command grab, sets on the Blanca Chan mid-screen, looking to activate it, but DCQ keeps the offense too tight, back heavy kick, counter hit, and look at this conversion. The meter build on this was insane. He drive rush cancels all the way through. What great awareness. We just talked about the calculations, right? He miscalculated this JP on the damage scaling with that level 1 combo instead of going into level 2, which let Meta RD make the comeback. Here, on the other hand, he lands his counter hit back heavy kick, and he just knows perfectly that this will build level 3. Like, that meter building awareness was amazing. Barely built that level 3 to get the kill, and Meta RD takes his first loss of Street Fighter League playoffs right here at the hands of DCQ, and Team Fighting Spirit has tied it up against Team Bandits. And leading into the next set between these two teams, we have Zhen up against Oil King, who has not sat down to play yet. And Zhen is already here on set point with his N Bison against Oil King. And here we have the perfect parry to get the party started. Bomb planted. Oil King, you had a nice life lead, but you take the throw like you're supposed to. What are you going to do when N Bison has the bomb? Well, you're going to block the overhead, but instead Zhen goes low. Bomb planted again. What do? You take one throw. You take 2 throw. That's what the doctor prescribes, and M. Bison's bomb is planted. But the 3rd throw? Don't tell me there's a 4th. There's a 4th. You got to guess for your life here. And he lets it rip, and Zhen baits it out. Classic M. Bison round. Once the bomb was planted, it was M. Bison's world. You're just living in it. Zhen at this point, man, he wanted to make a point about, putting the team on his back. He's undefeated so far. He's earning points every single time they send him up. He's practically an honorary Dominican at this point, doing it big for Team Bandits, taking that win over Oil King. Now for the next match, it's actually Meta RD not even in the anchor position. This time they send Meta RD up against NL. NL is here in the second spot, and Meta RD is already on set point with his Blanca, playing a solid footsie game against NL Jakuma. Drive rush in, finds the frame trap into the crouching medium punch, drive rush cancel, down to the corner, and it's immediate heavy punch into the level 2, and I'll try to do something to avoid the Blanca level 2 activation, but that was a quick 2-0 for Meta RD over NL to bring it to 40-20. And once again, Team Bandits is one set away from moving on to the next round, but we still have the anchor position, and once again, in this position, it's worth 20 points. If Bandits wins, it's over. They move to grand finals. If Team Fighting Spirit wins, we have one more set to determine the overall match. And so who does Team Bandits send up to take on DCQ in the anchor position? Kaba. Kaba with his Guile up against DCQ, which I thought was a strange pick at first, because in my opinion, I think N Bison does pretty well against Guile. I think JP does pretty well against Guile too, but I think N Bison might do even better against Guile. And they send Kaba into this position rather than sending Meta RD to get the run back from the previous anchor match. So how does it go? Well, the first game was kind of a wash here, and DCQ is already on a match point here to go up 2-0 against Kaba. Kaba in the corner. He needs to fight to tie up this set or else go down 2-0. But the well-placed crouching medium punch and the combo reset, that wasn't even a true combo, scramble right there, lets DCQ get a quick 2-0 victory up in this set with his M. Bison over Kaba's Guile. But it does not end there. Kaba fighting back here with a round on the board, has DCQ in the corner, finds the spacing trap with the button into the boom. We have big meter on the side of Kaba. He's doing the full boom loop. He's going to go all the way with the heavy kick into the level 3, and that is going to convert, and that is going to kill, and that is going to have Kaba back on the board, making this set 2-1 in the anchor position. Kaba is trying to close this out right now. With that said, DCQ immediately switches to the JP. Like I said, both of these characters that he has are characters that are well suited to combat Guile. I personally think M. Bison might even do better against Guile than JP right now, but both characters definitely fight Guile well. Well, how did it go? The first round was a wash. Kaba rushed DCQ down. Here he is on a match point to tie it up. Finds the DI, counter DI rather, drops the combo though, gets the reset, take throw, DCQ in the corner, has to fight out, boom pressure. He's rinsing the drive meter right now, rinsing the heavy kick to crank the drive meter gauge all the way down to burnout. And now there's not much DCQ can do. It is Chip City. The boom barrage chips out DCQ. And suddenly we have a tied set, and Kaba is one game away from taking the set and moving Bandits into grand finals. With that, DCQ goes quickly back to the M. Bison. We're on final round between these two players. DCQ finds a jump in to get the throw, pressure going, baits out the flash kick with the quick drive rush into light, gets the full combo conversion. He's going to plant the bomb here. This could kill in the next interaction. Kaba takes the throw to play it safe, hedging his bets. Overhead connects, but doesn't get the bomb explosion follow-up. DCQ is trying to rush him down, keep the pressure going. Weasels his way in for the next throw. The meaty lands. Kaba try to hold up forward or backdash out of the situation, and DCQ clutches it out, prevents the reverse OCV, and makes it so that they are tied up 40-40, Team Fighting Spirit versus Bandits. So that means no matter what, we have one set remaining, one final first to two as we go back through the cycle, repeating the next set format. Who are the two players who are going to sit down to determine in a first to two format who moves on to grand finals and who is eliminated? This is a $15,000 money match, by the way. The difference between second and third is $15,000. I don't think there's any pricing for third place, whereas second place gets minimum $15K to split amongst the competitors. So who is it going to be? Of course, it had to be DCQ versus Mena RD. DCQ sits back down to play again, and Mena RD says, it's my time. I know what to do. Time for me to close this out and come clutch for my squad. Winner of this moves on. Loser of this goes home. And how does it go? Well, it's an explosive start for both players. DCQ ties up the first game around a piece with the perfect. Mena RD on the Blanca versus M. Bison. Finds a driver's cancel into overhead. Is going to pop the level 2. Trying to get a Blanca round going right now. He doesn't want to let DCQ have any momentum. Blanca-chan down. Up ball to pop it. Finds the shimmy in that interaction. Blanca-chan again. Guess. What are you going to do about this? Blanca-chan is there. DCQ jumps out of the situation. Anti-air into the hop to keep DCQ into the corner. And the spacing trap, the well-placed stand medium poke into the backdash to bait out the scissor. Look at the spacing on this. Absolutely beautiful interaction. Stand medium punch is negative on block, and it sets up a perfectly safe scissor spacing. Mena RD uses that to his advantage to backdash out of that range, to bait out the scissors and get the full combo conversion in order to get his own perfect in return. An explosive first game, and Mena RD goes up 1-0. Over DCQ. Mena RD is now on set point versus DCQ. DCQ fighting to keep his team alive. Mena RD finds that interruption. He's going to get the combo conversion. One more interaction will close it out for Mena RD and Team Bandits over Fighting Spirit. DCQ fighting to be the anchor for his squad, trying to put the team on his back. He has the level 3. He has the resources to make the comeback. He just needs to find the opening. Can he do it? Drive rush into scissors. Trying to get tricky with the movement. Jab, drive rush cancel to sneak his way in. Mena RD finds a throw. One little poke to tap it in is all it takes. He's going with the mediums. The slide in to make something happen now. But Mena RD, not afraid, goes for the up ball when the combo punish would absolutely kill him. And Mena RD clutches up when the time is right to eliminate Fighting Spirit and to take Team Bandits into the grand finals to defend their Street Fighter League US title and their Street Fighter League Worlds title potentially. And now with two teams down, Team Bandits, the reigning Street Fighter League World Champions, are one team set away from returning to Street Fighter League Worlds. But they have, of course, their hardest competition yet. It's Team Bandits versus Team FlyQuest in the grand finals. And with this one, it's not just first to 50 points, it's now first to 70 to see who will be the Street Fighter League US World Champions. But I mentioned before how this has been a really interesting year for Punk, and he had a really strong season. He's not only the MVP of Street Fighter League US, but he's also the EVO champion this year. But an interesting thing about Punk, as dominant as he's been for so many years across Street Fighter V and now Street Fighter VI, one thing has really stood out in his career. In fact, if you don't know, Punk was actually a part of the very first Street Fighter League, Street Fighter League 2019. He was the captain there. It's strange to look at how young he really looks in this photo here. And here are actually the teams. He's there in Team Inferno with Punk, his friend JB, and the late great Brawly Legs, rest in peace. And who's that? Team Spirit. In fact, all of or nearly all of Team FlyQuest is here. We have there's Psycho. Psycho was actually on my team in Street Fighter League 2019 with Justin Wong as the captain. Team Spirit, and Shine is there over on Team Gale. And in fact, he went on to win Street Fighter League Season 1 2019 US with Team Inferno. But that was before the concept of Street Fighter League Worlds came to be. And since then, Punk has actually never really had a super strong Street Fighter League US performance. He goes on to say as much in his pre-game interview here at Street Fighter League US Playoffs.
I don't know if it's a chip on my shoulder, but I just feel like I always not do so good at Street Fighter League, and my team don't make it to the playoffs very often. So I just really wanted to win this because I feel like it's cool. I think it's nice to win for your team. You know, that feeling is probably like the best feeling ever. So I wanna feel that. So that's my motivation for this tournament.
So he mentions he wants to win for his team, and it's true. There's definitely a huge element of pride with your team, and team tournaments hit different, competing in them as well. Your loss is not just your loss, you're letting down your teammates, and your win is not just your win, you're doing it for your teammates as well. There's a lot more emotional pride at stake there for sure. But beyond just wanting to win it for his team, I would say there's a bit more to it for Punk. You see, it's Team Bandits versus Team FlyQuest. Punk versus Mena RD. These two have been pitted against each other time after time, year after year. Two of the greatest of the modern Street Fighter generation. Punk, now the EVO 2024 champion and one of the most winningest, if not the most winningest Street Fighter V player of all time. Mena RD, EVO 2024 Japan champion and the only two-time Capcom Cup champion ever. They're both in NA. They both compete regularly. They draw comparison. It's just the nature of the game. And when comparisons are brought up with Punk, something interesting, I think, happens to him. Here is one of his most notorious pop-offs from the 2021 CPT US East qualification, where he goes up against Idom. Idom, who won Capcom Cup 2019 over Punk in the grand finals, who was then, at that time, the one Punk was constantly compared to. Idom was on his hot streak, and it was, can Punk beat Idom? Can Idom beat Punk? Those are the two players constantly compared in this competitive era of Street Fighter V. And when Punk finally won over Idom online, his Poison versus Punk's Karen, this is what Punk had to say.
They are not clutch! I'm the definition of clutch! Out of here! Tell him your mom said talk that now! That's what we talk!
This is wholesome.
Classic pop-off from Punk. So classic that Mama Punk had to get involved, and that's where the I'm the definition of clutch came from. Yeah, that was the talk of the town at that point. Punk is the best player, but he's not as clutch as Idom is. Those comparisons, I think, spark something in Punk. And he mentioned it before, even in the Trash Talk episode that I did with him, the in-depth interview, that he never had a beef with Idom. It was more Idom fanboys or people in the community drawing these comparisons between him and Idom. And I think that has been brewing with Punk and Mena RD for a long time. Mena RD has a lot of dedicated fans, and he represents the DR. And whenever Punk plays Mena RD in an online set and he loses, there's fanboys there saying that Mena RD is better. He's the best. There was a period of time in Street Fighter 6, especially before this point, pre-EVO 2024, where Mena RD was consistently beating Punk, where Punk was one of the most consistent players overall. Mena RD was a very consistent roadblock. I'm sorry, I don't know what other word to use besides consistent. The comparisons have been there, and I know that they were starting to annoy Punk to a degree. This was personal for him. Even if it wasn't a personal beef with Mena RD himself, there was a lot on the line for Punk in this situation. So, off to the races. How does this set begin? We have Chris CCH versus Kaba. We have Guile up against Chris CCH with his Ed. Chris CCH actually had a really strong regular season on Team FlyQuest, originally the captain of Team CLG when they nearly won Street Fighter League US in 2022, the final season for Street Fighter V. But Kaba finds the hit into the activation to the level 2. Don't worry, he's going to need one more interaction to win. He's just going to drive rush him to the corner. But wait a minute. He gets the corner. And wait a minute. He builds a level 1. And wait a minute. The boom loop keeps going. And wait a minute. He converts all the way. Even Chris CCH puts his hands on his head in that situation. He can't believe that that opening turned into that full conversion. Just look at the situation one more time from how it began. You can see here he finds this drive rush back heavy kick and then does the full corner carry and meter build. Amazing awareness from Kaba. I think only an experienced Guile player could have recognized that this was a situation where he could kill, but Kaba knew it, and he got the job done, and he takes the first game over Chris CCH in this first of 2. But Chris CCH ends up tying it up, and we're at set point between these two players, the final round of the set. Chris CCH gets the bait on the flicker to the cancel, throws level 2 to force out of parry. Wait, he throws it away. What are you doing? I gotta pause to explain here. Chris CCH purposely did this. After getting Kaba down to 1 drive meter in the corner, he pops the level 2. Typically in this situation, you would do a light level 2 to force someone to block the level 2 and get some pressure. It'll be meaty on them when they wake up. Typically, when you do that, you would hold parry to prevent your drive gauge from going down, especially since Kaba has such low drive gauge. Chris CCH saw this tech on Twitter. He even retweeted it. He went through it. Where at 1500 MR, Ed player, he threw heavy level 2 here instead, so that the opponent, when they woke up parry expecting the slow level 2, the level 2 would just whiff behind them. They would whiff their parry, and they would get a punish counter throw. In this situation, if Kaba whiffed parry and Chris went and threw him, he would lose all his drive meter and be in burnout. Chris CCH tried to troll Kaba with a troll setup in grand finals of Street Fighter League US. Kaba doesn't even flinch and goes, okay, thanks for letting me play. Chris was definitely trolling there, but even then, Chris was trolling himself. He finds the hit confirm here. He could have put Kaba in a bad situation. He could have potentially had Kaba here on a one more interaction to kill. He could have comboed into level 1 and forced a burnout, but he drops the conversion. Kaba, a barre out, finds the activation. Instead, Kaba is now going to turn the tables and put Chris in a situation where he might go into burnout. Huge drop from Chris. Now he's in burnout against Kaba, trying to defend mid-screen. Doesn't bite on the shimmy, though, fighting out appropriately. Defending mid-screen. Eats the back throw. But he has his level 2 again. He throws it out to clear the screen and approach. But Kaba, perfect parry on the MK button right there into the OD flash kick through the level 2 to set up the boom and get the final interaction. Amazing clutch from Kaba. Chris CCH had a couple moments to close this out, but Kaba was just too persistent, stays alive, and takes the first 10 points for Team Bandits. And up next, we have Kimberly from Psycho up against Zhen's M. Bison. And Zhen has been putting on a clinic with M. Bison up until this point. He has been undefeated, getting all the points for Team Bandits, and is now looking to carry that momentum and to bring Team Bandits to a 20-0 victory. That's what I would say if Psycho didn't have nearly a double perfect. He closed the first game out with a perfect, opened the second game with a perfect as well. Here has Zhen in the corner. Zhen, with his back against the wall, literally, goes to the level 3, interrupts the cancel into the teleport. He's looking to put the pressure on, make a comeback right here, right now. Finds the block string. Psycho trying to fight back, puts himself in burnout, but gets the tick throw anyways. Zhen doesn't fall for the neutral jump. Psycho there was going to bait out a drive reversal. Zhen makes love to down back there and gets the Psycho Crusher anti-air instead. And he sees an opening here. Goes for the chip. It's no good. Psycho gives Zhen his first loss 2-0 with Kimberly in Street Fighter League playoffs. Wow. Yeah, so just to re-go through that situation here, he wanted to get a guaranteed meaty here and get chip. I believe that from this drive rush cancel, the best you can do is the OD scissor, because it's a it's not a charge move. OD Psycho Crusher chips and is plus on block, which would have been better, but I guess he didn't want to manually time it and potentially eat a wake-up jab. I'm not sure, but whatever he thought, he miscalculated. That was not enough chip, and Psycho holds on and gets the punish. to deliver the first loss to Zhen. Huge win for Psycho, tying it up 10-10 between these two teams. But up next, we have the first anchor match of the grand finals. Punk versus Mena RD. Once again, the question is, what characters are we going to see from Mena RD? Punk, he's been locking into Cammy, but Mena RD has represented so many characters in the past and so many against Punk specifically. So, what does he open up with? It's the Blanca, and the Blanca is not looking good. Quick first game to Punk, and in the second game, he opens with a perfect. Here he is, trying to make it a 2-0 lead against Mena RD's Blanca. Mena RD's neutral and footsies are looking incredible, immaculate, and human. Finds the counter hit jab conversion to put Mena RD in the corner. He doesn't fall for the surprise button into OD command grab, gets the punish, puts him to the corner, and now he's in the pocket. When Punk has that perfect stand heavy punch spacing when you're in the corner, he just mashes on that button, hit confirms whenever you run into it. It is the worst position to be in, and that is nearly a double perfect for Punk to go up 2-0 over Mena RD. What was expected to be a dramatic showdown is looking free so far for Punk the God. But, of course, in this situation, you can expect Mena RD to adapt and to switch things up. Because now we have the Zangief. But still, the first round goes to Punk. Punk is on set point, looking to make this 3-0. Mena RD trying to fight alive. He gets the whip punish on the sweep, baits out the DP combo conversion into the level 1. That is big damage and big drive gauge damage as well. Finds the driver's cancel to get in. Holding the corner. Whip punish with the sweep from Punk. Finds the conversion into the level 3. That's going to be burnout. And Mena RD has less than 2 bars of super, which means that he doesn't have a way to get out with an invincible super. He has options with Tundra Storm and Heavy Punch if you don't keep the string tight enough. But he finds the counter hit conversion here. Level 2 on the side of Mena RD. He jumps away from the DI. Finds the lights. Survives. Heavy punch with the armor. You have to keep it frame tight. He doesn't have supers to get through sometimes, but he has armored moves on later active frames. Mena RD stays alive barely, but Punk wants to close it out now in the final round of this game. Mena RD fighting his way out, gets the lights into the driver's conversion, into the level 2 to get the side switch, puts Punk into the corner, trying to hold it. He had the level 1, he doesn't go for it. It was SPD right there or level 1. He had the level 1, he doesn't react. Punk jumps, and that could have been a level 1 conversion for the game, but Punk gets to live for another interaction. Mena RD trying to hold the corner and also trying to not lose his drive gauge. Punk, excellent jab level 1 confirm. He is confirming everything. He has the anti-airs. He is suffocating Mena RD, goes for the grab, and this is all she wrote. That is a guaranteed kill right there. Mena RD only had 1 bar of super, and Punk takes it 3-0 over Mena RD and is hyping up the crowd. And more so than that, he starts talking to the people.
For the Fighters squad.
I don't know if we can say what he's saying.
I don't want to say what he's saying.
If you can pick up what he's saying, he says, "That's right, DR. That's right, DR. This is my shit."
He said, "This is my something."
He is popping off, not at Mena RD, not at Team Bandits, but at the DR community as a whole. Remember what I said about Spite and the comparisons? Well, it's starting to show right here. 3-0 Punk the God over Mena RD. Now, on to the next set. We have Zhen versus Shine. This time, we have FlyQuest as the away team. Shine was slated to play. They decided to throw Zhen up here specifically for Shine. We just saw Zhen lose 0-2 to Psycho's Kimberly. Very dominant set for Psycho in that situation. Setting him up again against another Kimberly is an interesting option. And Shine here, he mentioned also in his pregame interview, he didn't have the best record himself at Street Fighter League during the regular season. He's looking to get a big win and prove he deserves to be on that squad and prove that he can pull his weight. So, how does it go? Well, a game apiece here, but Shine at set point over Zhen here. Finds the trade combo conversion all the way into the corner. Stagger gets 1 tick throw. Zhen, what are you going to do here? 2 tick throws. The backdash shimmy doesn't land. The teleport doesn't land either. Zhen finds the Obari, doesn't go into level 3. I'm really surprised, which allows Shine to get the wake up buttons into the drive rush cancel, into the overhead to close it out. Zhen had an opportunity to put Shine into burnout with his own level 3 conversion, doesn't take it. And instead, Shine wins 2-1 over Zhen with the pop-off. I know that win was huge for him and his confidence, taking out one of the MVPs of Street Fighter League playoffs right there in Zhen. Shine doing the thing to bring it to 40-10 for FlyQuest. That means at 40 to 10, there's 30 points remaining in the set. If FlyQuest wins the next two sets, the 10-point and the 20-point anchor, it is over, and they are the Street Fighter League US champions. So, who's up next? We have Psycho versus Kaba. Psycho had such momentum versus Zhen, but Kaba may be the MVP right now. The only person to earn points so far for Bandits continues that streak. 2-0 Psycho loses to Kaba. Kaba puts 20 points on the board total in two different sets for Team Bandits to keep the hopes up, which means no matter what happens in the anchor position, we go to at least one more set. And who do we have in the anchor position? Of course, we have the showdown again. They send up Mena RD to go up against Punk once more. And this time, after learning in the first set, Mena RD decides to lock in right away to the Zangief to have an explosive showdown. Mena RD winning the first round of the first game. But the footsies are there. Punk with the heavy kick with the whip punishes. Whip punish again. Look at the low dry meter. Forces the burnout on Mena RD. Mena RD gets the neutral jump though. Read on the dive kick. He's going to convert into the level 2 here on this interaction. And he goes straight into the Oki mid screen. Allows Punk to wake up with it. Again, the sweep whip punishes. Punk used that sweep so effectively this whole event to whip punish all of the limbs from his opponents here. Back to Nooch though. Mena RD just needs to tap it in. Backdashes on the throw. Finds a drive rush cancel as well. And Mena RD gets his first game of the evening against Punk right there to make it 1-0 in this second set. But on to the next game. Punk already up a round. In burnout here. Mena RD looking to make it evened up in this game. But he reads the SPD, does Punk, finds a conversion into the level 3. And this time, Mena RD is going to be in burnout. Also, no level 2. So Punk recovers. He can potentially force a guaranteed stun. But Mena RD finds the armored heavy punch through the not airtight string. Punk got to recover from a burnout here. Mena RD knows he needs to hold his ground. He gets the stand medium chop to prevent the approach. Blocks the dive kick. Techs the throw. He finds the whip punish as well. Punk was scrambling to get the burnout. He's not going to get it. And instead, Mena RD holds his ground, gets the anti-air, and ties it up a round apiece. One round away from going up 2-0 against Punk the God. Here, Punk is in the corner. One SPD away. He jumps it. Mena RD went for the gusto. That SPD would have made it 2-0 Mena RD. He holds on the shimmy mid-screen. He goes for an SPD again. It whiffs in neutral. Mena RD wants that last command grab to close out this game bad. But Punk, he's finding the whip punishes. Suddenly he has the corner. Suddenly he forced the burnout and he got the guaranteed stun. Mena RD played so precise, finding the whip punishes, avoiding the SPDs, and played the meter game. Once he had this this low dry meter situation, this heavy punch to DI was guaranteed. Punk somehow turns that around from a 2-0 situation for Mena RD to make it 1-1 in the set score. And here we have both players with a round in game 3. Such an important round. Who's going to go up 2-1? Air to air for Mena RD. Goes for the drive rush into the SPD. One more big SPD can do it. And Mena RD goes for it. He goes for OD to get the extra damage to kill, but it whiffs. Suddenly he's in burnout. He has level 2 to fight out against versus a DI, but this is a terrible situation. He didn't want to deal with it. He tried some Abare with wake up buttons, and instead Punk keeps the airtight meaty and gets the conversion to level 3. You can call Mena RD greedy, but sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, right? The OD SPD would have closed it out right then and there, but Punk smelts it, and he avoided the situation and made the clutch comeback. 2 rounds where Mena RD was so close to making it 2-1 or 2-0, and now instead it's a 2-2 situation between these players. On to the next game. Punk looking too strong. One little touch away from making it set point for him. Mena RD in the corner. He can't even counter DI, but he finds instead the single hit confirmed crouching medium punch into his own level 2. He gets the full combo conversion, and it's enough. It killed. I had no clue that was going to kill when I watched it live. That was mad damage. Amazing perseverance from Mena RD to stay alive in this set. Now, Mena RD fighting to tie it up. Finds the stand like a drive rush cancel into the full combo conversion. OD lariat to level 2. This is definitely not going to kill. Sets up the knockdown final guess. Anti-shimmy wake-up crouching medium kick from Punk the God. Calls out the respect of the wake-up option into the full CA. And suddenly, Mena RD's in a terrible position. He's in burnout with no super meter against Cammy with meter. But he finds the check mid-screen. He has to survive. If he gets pushed to the corner, it's over. It's dead. He gets counter hit there, but the 2 lights were enough. Punk went for another surprise DI. He didn't have the life to survive this. Just jab, tapped it in through that DI. If Punk had survived that last jab, Meta RD was done for. Amazing awareness there to jab it out. And now we have a final game situation in the second set between these two Titans. Punk the guy, though, went up a quick round to be on set point here. Meta RD fighting out of the corner. Punk gets a mutual burnout situation here. Level 3 on the side of both players. Another single hit confirm from Meta RD to stay alive in this set. But anything will do it if he gets touched. It's almost chip territory for Meta RD. He restores neutral here. Punk finds his way in. Gets the jab check on the whiff throw. But the whiffed air to air. He misspaced that option. He thought he could clip him on the way up. Punk gets the trip guard punish. Shouts to the crowd. He wants the smoke. He wants the action. Punk the God takes 2 sets over Meta RD. This one much closer. 3-2 final score to Punk the God. And with that, we have the next level pop off. Punk now literally in the crowd. He is feeling it. The energy that is emanating from Punk is unreal. This is beyond personal for him. This is something that's been brewing inside of him for quite some time. He is all over saying this is his stage, this is his time, this is his game. To explain what's going on here, it is now 60-20. If Bandits want to win, to reclaim their Street Fighter League US title, to have a shot to reclaim and defend their Street Fighter League Worlds title, they need to win 4 team sets straight from here on out. Kaba, Louis Man, Mena RD all need to win, and then the next set as well they need to win. If at any point Bandits loses a set, their run is over at second place, and FlyQuest becomes the new Street Fighter League US champion. And now they're the away team. They had to publish their order first, which allows FlyQuest to pick the counter picks as they go. So FlyQuest has all the advantage. They just need to tap the ball in. One more set, and they are the victor. Up first, Kaba, who is the only person so far to score any points for Team Bandits, is up with this guile. And who do they choose to potentially close out the set? Chris CCH. Up again to get his revenge. He kind of trolled Kaba the first time, had some opportunities to close it out. It didn't quite work out for him, and Kaba clutched up. How does it go this time? Well, Kaba, he is locked in. He is trying to earn all the points possible for his team. Here he is on set point versus Chris CCH. Looking to make this a quick 2-0. Gets the perfect parry after the bazooka knee. And that's a quick closeout for Kaba. 2-0 Kaba over Chris CCH to begin the comeback potentially for Team Bandits, making it 30-60. But remember, they can't afford any losses. They just have to win from here on out. Up next is Louis Man. So, Louis Man Dalsum, first time he's playing on Team FlyQuest. Going up now. Who does Team FlyQuest send up? Is it one of the Kimberlys? Is it Psycho? Is it Shine? Does Shine play Chun-Li or maybe his Ed instead? No. Instead, they make the decision to send Punk early. They're not saving Punk for the anchor match to potentially allow Team Bandits to build momentum and then leave the first of 3 up to Punk versus Mena. They send Punk out right now. Punk makes the decision that I will go up with my Kami versus Louis Mans Dalsum right now to end this before it can even get started. You're not even going to get a third opportunity to put me up against Mena RD. And keep in mind here, Louis Man Dalsum, unconventional character. Louis Man has been in this situation before. If you remember, East Coast Throwdown 2024, he was actually on a team in Daigo's 3v3 event with Kaba and Daigo himself. And Louis Man is the player who clutched up and won the team tournament for that team over players like the Birds team, which was Angry Bird, Big Bird, and Lex. He has beaten world-class competition in these team tournament formats, so it's not unheard of him to do this, but this will be his toughest competition yet. So, with the tournament life on the line, Punk already up around in the first game. Louis Man in the corner. Harassed. Drive rush cancel, gets the pressure. Gets the throw after the plus crouching heavy punch. Punish counter throw on the parry attempt. Drive rushing for throw. Texas time for Louis Man trying to fight his way out of here. Punk weasels his way in with the drive rush cancels, puts himself in burnout because he does not care. Light jab.
Not a lot of scaling involved.
confirmed to level 1 with the perfect. He is on point. Punk is 1 game away from taking Street Fighter League US against Louis Man, against Team Bandits, against the DR as a whole. This is personal for Punk. How does the next game go? Louis Man back in the corner of the other side, snipes out the dive kick attempt, finds the fake cross up, goes in front with the teleport, gets the conversion to level 1. He's not going down without a fight here. Gets the zoning game going, throwing the projectiles out, drills underneath the jump in to get back to mid-screen, finds the check, and Louis Man is on the board. He has a round up against Punk. He's not going down without a fight, but here we have him in the corner once again, but he finds the perfect parry. OD fireball, regular fireball setup. Punk does not care. OD DP through. You're staying in that corner. 1 throw. Meaty this time. Louis Man held up. Punk read it. Gets the conversion. Punk now on set point. 1 game up against Louis Man. 1 round away from taking the entire event. How does this go? Well, Louis Man, he has a little bit of a life lead, but he's being pushed to the corner here. Defending. Finds the teleport out. Escapes the corner. He's back to mid-screen. He can fight. If he has space, he can fight. Teleport zoning. Snipes out the air. Gets the driver's cancel in for pressure. Gets the light confirmed into the level 3. This is huge damage. Punk still has CA available, so anything is possible at this point. Louis Man's got to be very careful. Low drive meter situation as well for Punk. So he's going to have to make something happen soon. Any limb could be whiff punished to level 3 as well. Louis Man is aware of it. Watching his ranges, finding the hits. Whiffs the dive kick. That's huge. But he escapes the final throw situation. He reads it with the up back into drill. And we have a set. Everyone counted Louis Man out in this position, but now we have a set 1 game apiece. And potentially the strategy to put Punk up early might be falling apart. Here we go into the final game between these 2 players. Do the Bandits move on, or does Punk end it here? Punk finds the perfect parry, misses the punish. Louis Man instead gets a punish on the sweep. Huge damage into the level 1. Back to mid-screen control, trying to create space. Sets up the OD fireball. Gonna use that to create some screen control. Punk jumps into the OD fireball, and Louis Man snipes out the spin knuckle. And Louis Man suddenly, after looking like he was out of his depth, is at set point versus Punk the God. This plan might come crashing down on their heads in this exact moment. Here we go. Next round. Punk trying to make sure he can stay alive. He snipes out Louis Man. He's on the chase. Finds the driver's heavy kick. Gets the big jump in. The suffocating pressure is too much. Louis Man slips up, and it's final round, final game. Tournament point for Punk. Louis Man just fighting to keep his team alive. How does it go down? Well, Punk has Louis Man in the corner here. Driver's cancels, keeping the pressure up. Perfect parry from Louis Man. Gets the back throw. Suddenly, Louis Man has a chance here. Low drive meter situation for Punk. He can harass it, but Punk finds the Abare. Doesn't go into level 3, though. He puts himself in burnout. He knew the level 3 wouldn't kill in that situation, so he's saving the meter. Louis Man has a chance. What does he do with it? He whiffs the drill, and Punk finds the trip guard punish. Gets the combo conversion into the level 3, and that is it. Punk the God and FlyQuest take it. They are your Street Fighter League US champions. Wow. They get the job done. Louis Man did not go down without a fight. He fought till the end. He almost made the impossible possible, but Punk had a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove, and he gets the job done. And like I mentioned before, spite is a powerful motivator. In the post-game interview, here's what Punk had to say.
It's no real rivalry. My rivalry is with the Dominican community, and I want all of them to know that they're very quiet right now, and now they know who's the best in the world, and they ain't gonna say nothing to me no more. Y'all mans is dead. I slayed him. He's done. I'm the GOAT. I don't want to hear nothing from the Dominican community no more, bro. Y'all come in my chat, y'all better worship me on Twitch. That's all I want to know. I don't hear none of y'all in this arena talking, none of that.
Okay.
Wow. Punk was not holding anything back. You could almost hear the adrenaline shakes in the voice. You could see it in his eyes. Genuine concern from Rob there at the end. He segued into the kayfabe WWE style. Okay, let me hold him back, but we did not know where this was going. This was something deep inside of Punk that he was holding in, that he had to let the world know, and specifically the DR community know. He is done with the comparisons. He is the player to watch out for, and as he said, he's the GOAT. And he's making a case for it right now. I mean, with that, we have him also popping off here. DR, y'all quiet now. He's getting specific with it. He is tired of the trolls. He's tired of the comparisons. And this is just how he operates. It reminds me of Punk from 2021. Idon versus Punk, that saga. Now it's Mena RD versus Punk in 2025. And now we have Team FlyQuest as the Street Fighter League US World Champions, which really sets up an amazing storyline. Mena RD, EVO 2024 Japan champion, the only two-time Capcom Cup champion. Punk the God, finally getting his first EVO win in EVO Vegas 2024. Punk the God takes Street Fighter League US over Team Bandits. Going into Capcom Cup, there is a possibility for Punk the God to potentially take EVO, Street Fighter League Worlds, and Capcom Cup in the same year. I'm not saying it's likely, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we live in a world where that is now a possibility. And Punk making the arguments that he's the GOAT, if he succeeds in that endeavor, it's over. The conversation is over from here on and throughout. Punk will be the GOAT of Street Fighter, at least for the foreseeable future, if that comes to fruition, and he's making the case for himself live as we speak right now. But that's not all. You think Mena RD is going down without a fight? I don't think so. Mena RD, new profile pic. The Punk tweet, y'all quiet now. Mena RD is also taking this personal. This is motivation for him as well to give it his all at Capcom Cup 11. I am so excited to see what these players bring to the table, to see the drama unfold and the competition before our eyes. It is going to be an incredible show, and Street Fighter League US playoffs is the perfect appetizer to lead up to Capcom Cup 11 later on next month. And with that said, that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this recap. I know it went a little long, but what can I say? There's a lot of great action to get into. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.